Hello friends, I'm building a dragon. I hope you like my dragon. I worked very hard on it. We do actually have a lot to get through today. There's a lot of little things that I did. The footage is sped up pretty quickly, so I'm going to have to speak pretty quickly to get through it all with you, so... What? You're a good boy. So yeah, let's get started. I'm Michael, that's Ghost. This is the Drogon Build Part 6. It's 6, isn't it? Alright, so here it is. The first thing I did was decided I need to extend the tail so that it would come all the way up here. What I love about EVA foam is how versatile it is. It's very easy to fix any little issues that you might have with it. Putting an extra piece on was just a matter of literally gluing an extra piece on. Used a bit of Velcro there. It's pretty straightforward. And yeah, that's pretty seamless. So moving on to the spikes on the end of the tail, just trimming EVA foam, of course, and then placing it on this this red leathery sort of material that I got here. I actually bought this one a long time ago. It's good, it's a nice good colour, it's got a good texture to it. I did end up buying a different sort of material to put on the neck and the back. Just mainly this one was white on the back of it, and it's a little bit heavy as well. Okay, that was a bit of a lie. I actually couldn't find this material again in the store, so I did end up buying another one that was similar. It's red on both sides, and it was a much nicer red as well, and it was lighter. So, but yeah, we just used a bit of EVA foam on the back of it just to prop it up to hold it. After that, we decided to do the rest of the tail in a very similar way. You can see here, just using the EVA foam, making them into more tube-like structures for the spikes, and then sticking little pieces on the end to make them pointy. This took a very, very long time. As you can see, the footage there is actually sped up. I think it's like 50 times, and that's not even half of it. It took a very long time. We sat there for a good 6 hours doing this, believe it or not. So yeah, this is the leathery stuff I mentioned, and then I bought these tubes that are supposed to be for insulation, for copper pipe insulation, and this is the other material that I bought. I actually think it was a nicer colour, and it was a bit easier to work with as well. And using this insulation made the process for the neck a lot quicker, because we didn't have to individually make those spikes. As I said, it was white on the back of the stuff that I used for the tail, so I actually had to paint all of that, which is, I should have just gone with the newer material from the start, but here we are. And now the leg I made a long time ago, but that was only one of them. Obviously a dragon needs 2 legs. So we're going to make the other one here, and it's pretty simple. Since I've already made one, I can just copy each of the pieces and go into Superman mode here, where I get it done in the blink of an eye. What was irritating is the material that I actually used to put the zippers on the back of this. It looked really good, but the glue ended up peeling off of it. It doesn't actually stick to that very well, so I did have to go and replace all of that. This is a turntable that I found. It's for a pantry. Very cheap, little plastic, lightweight ones from Kmart. All I did there was just cut off this plastic and peeled off all this rubber. I'm not going to talk about how long the rubber took to peel off, but I managed to get it. And then I just stuck some Velcro to that so that I can peel the legs off of it when I need to, because obviously the whole thing needs to come apart. These actually turned out to be really good hip joints here. I'm gonna fold these knees up. By the end of this video you'll see I did fix the knees up a little bit, but it does work. So as you can see there with my headless chicken looking thing, it was very lightweight and I had lots of mobility. With the claws it was pretty straightforward, just cut out a few triangles and stuck them all together. Not too fussed about how it looks at the moment because I plan to paper mache over the top of these just the same way I did the horns and the teeth. So just trimming them to shape roughly. They don't have to look perfect at the moment, but they're going to look pretty good when I'm finished with them. Obviously duplicate that a few times over and then stick them on. Now I'll try my best to explain this part. This is going to go on the neck. So while the neck is looking forward, looking straight out, it's going to be sitting like this. And then as the head tilts down, the top of the neck is going to need to stretch and the bottom of it is going to compress. So where I've got my hand now is the top of the neck. And then obviously once it looks back up, the bottom of the neck will stretch back out and the top will compress again. So hopefully that makes sense. Well, there's a zipper in the middle of it there to separate the head from the body. And so I'm just going to attach one half to the neck and then the other half to the head. One of the issues that I had in the last two videos was the wings folding in all the way in. Didn't look real good. So we figured out a way to fix that. And it was pretty simple, really. I just had to take a bolt, put it in to this part right here, and then put a nut on it. And that way, once the wing comes down, it's not going to fold all the way in on itself. And this next part was actually a bit of an accident, a fortunate accident, but it caused a little bit of extra work for me, but I'm happy that I went with it in the end. So I took a piece of the upholstery foam. I was only testing the glue just to see how well hot glue was going to work on it. But I figured I'd put some spikes on it, some little dots, and then once I painted it with the black paint, I threw a bit of Flex Seal over the top, the same way I did the head. And once I'd put the Flex Seal on, I realized that I've just discovered something incredible. It might not look so great on the camera here, but this in person, the feel of it and the look of it, actually, it's insane how much this actually looks like a reptile skin, and it feels like a reptile skin. So obviously once I discovered that, I realized I had to do the entire arm like this. It was fortunate that I had enough offcuts lying around that I was able to put a layer of skin on like this. Obviously I was planning to use the upholstery foam for the muscles anyway, but I didn't plan on covering the entire thing with it. So once the muscles were on, I just put a few more of these little EVA foam spikes on and then covered the entire thing in little dots of hot glue just to give it a little more texture. Not that it needs it, because honestly the camera's not doing justice. This thing looks amazing once the Flex Seal goes on. I'm just using black spray paint as a base coat just to make sure that none of the white is going to shine through. I was really happy with how that wing looked, but yeah, because of that now I've got to do all of the dragon like this. So compared to the upholstery foam, the EVA foam's very smooth, so just testing out another way that I could maybe make it replicate the skin a bit more. So I heated up this potato masher and pressed it into the EVA foam just to give it a bit of texture, something I might do later for the neck and the tail. Moving on to the second half of the wing, we're just again using offcuts. I could have gone and bought some thin strips of the upholstery foam, but I do have quite a bit of large pieces lying around, so I sliced them down really thin. Took a long time, but you know, it's worth it in the end. And then for the back of the wing, Again, just took some long pieces, just cut out a narrow channel to stick onto the PVC that's already inside of the wings. Now I left the tips of them flexible because this thing is probably going to hit the ground every now and then, so I don't want them to break. I used little bits of upholstery foam here on the leg and the foot just to clean it up a little bit, and around the toenails there just to make it look a little more realistic. Spraying red down as a base, going over it with black, because obviously he's supposed to have red coming through. It was a bit tricky to do it on a flat surface. We used some foam and just kind of patted it down just to make it rough, so it's not so smooth as I mentioned before, because this is just EVA foam. Just going back over with red and the black paints, and then over the top of it with the Flex Seal again. The Flex Seal was pretty heavy, so I had to keep coming back and putting more red on because it would cover it pretty easily. It's not perfect. I'm definitely gonna go at it again later on in the future to make it look a bit nicer, but it's sort of red, sort of black, so I'm happy. So what you might not know is I'm down here in Australia and it's in the middle of summer at the moment, and it's very, very hot. And this was done in the middle of the day, and I didn't realise just how hot it was, because I left this outside for maybe 10 minutes to let everything dry. And when I came back out, half of these pieces of upholstery foam had actually peeled off because the hot glue had melted in the sun. And believe it or not, the PVC bits that you see there in the wing, they'd actually warped out of shape. I don't know how the sun managed to heat it up that much that the PVC actually bended, because I have to heat the sand up very, very, very hot to get it to bend easily. So hot that once it's in the PVC, I can't actually hold the pipe. That's how hot the pipe is. And it turned out all I had to do was put it outside in the Australian sun for 10 minutes and that stuff bent under its own weight. So I guess I've been doing it the hard way. And once it had cooled down a bit later on in the afternoon, I actually did the other half of this off camera. It was just after I did the leg. But that is only one leg and one wing, so at some point soon I'll be doing the other two. Okay, so there's no big reveal at the end of this video, but there she is standing behind me there, making good progress. I think in the next one I'll probably take it outside again. I haven't taken it outside since the last video, hence why there's no big reveal at the end of this one. But yeah, as you can see, it's coming along. And yeah, so stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.